you rank ahead of some kid's dad? What's that? We don't like that.
But I have a question for
Yes.
you. A couple of the candidates are actually going to be going out of state for their
Excellent.
jobs. Can you tell them about that process?
Yeah, going out of state from Colorado, and actually, before I even say that, you are in the catbird seat. I will tell you that as a hiring manager, I preferred UNC grads. You guys just seem happier, nicer, not so ivory tower-ish type of people. Okay, I mean, I hired people from Regis and CU and Pueblo and other, but man, when I saw UNC on your resume, right to the top. And by the way, that whole thing about one page, yeah. Principals don't have a lot of time, they read the front page. And maybe they'll get to the second page if they get really intrigued, but if I have a stack of 20, I'm gonna sort them. Okay, make your front page punchy and address the ad. Now, going from state to state from Colorado is not bad. Okay? It's harder if you don't have your Colorado license. Get your Colorado license because you did your program here, and then apply somewhere else with your license. They will send me an APV for their state. I've got, well, I know when I get back tomorrow, I've got one from California, Minnesota, and Massachusetts waiting for me to sign for somebody. And I've signed them from all over the place. I have not found a state that won't take Colorado, okay? Now, California will make you do extra work. A whole year of extra work. New York, I've been working with a student from fall. New York, you have 3 more exams and 3 workshops to take, and one of them you have to be physically present in New York to take it. So New York makes it hard, but it's not impossible. And some states are cheaper than, like I said, Vermont cost me $50. If you want to go to New York, it's expensive, like $210, I think was what theirs was last I checked for me. I don't know what it'd be for you. My best advice is get your Colorado license and then transport that to the other state. Okay? I've been through looking at what all the applications for all 50 states and 6 territories. Okay? You're good to go. Thank goodness you're not from Florida or Texas, because I don't know what they're doing, but even Colorado won't take their licenses.
I can tell you, that's where I was teaching it.
Yeah? Is it bad?
It's bad.
Oh, that's
They
bad.
will hire anybody. You
Really?
don't have to have an education degree.
Holy cow, that's crazy. Oh, trivia question. Largest school district in the world by land area. Anybody know it?
Hawaii.
It's Jefferson County.
No? No, they want to believe it. The Department of Defense Public Schools covers the entire earth. And if you want to teach in Department of Defense public schools, they have a license and you can apply through them. They have schools here in Colorado and they have them all over the world. Okay? Yeah.
So if I'm applying in Wyoming, I'm applying with my Colorado license, and you're saying they'll take it,
Mhm.
but then what, then?
Well, you're going to fill out some Wyoming unique forms and pay some Wyoming money to do that.
And then
but
I
yeah.
will be also applying for a Wyoming license?
Yes, then you'll have a Colorado and a Wyoming license.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, I do a lot of Wyoming. Do a lot of Wyoming, and I do a lot of Alaska. Alaska's gotten a lot of our grads. They just, wow, they come down with this really slick looking packet and offer you money like right now, because it's hard. Other questions? Yeah.
Money on vacation.
Yeah. Yeah, endorsements, right.
Where do you go to investigate those? Like, I have a ton of science, and someone had suggested perhaps I could get a science endorsement.
Great question.
How do I do that?
Because when you apply, let's see if I can back out of here and find it. There are several ways Colorado will take your stuff for an endorsement. As long as you student taught in some area, there's your first endorsement. But then if you want a science degree, do you have a bachelor's in science or have you passed the science praxis? And then you check please evaluate for an additional area, and they'll do that for only $20 more as you do it. Okay, so if you've got a bachelor's in nursing, they could evaluate that, right? A bachelor's in aeronautical engineering, they can evaluate that, and I'll tell you what, science, big time. I mean, I was at a CASPA meeting on Friday, and these districts are going to Pennsylvania, Texas, Florida, California, all over the country trying to find science and math people.
So for an endorsement, do you have to provide your undergrad
Transcripts. Yeah, your official transcripts. Yeah. So, yeah, that's another thing. If you've got education that spans a bunch of different schools, get the e-transcripts and save them in the cloud so you have them. Yeah.
So if you don't have an undergrad degree, but you still want to like do an endorsement, you just take the praxis?
Take the praxis. I know a number of people who've gone ahead and studied for the special ed generalist, for example. That makes you super marketable, like right now. Okay? Because it's an added endorsement. And like I said, we do 64 programs, but I think there's like 90 endorsements that are available out there. Yeah. Yeah, you know where it is on the website?
I can maybe find
Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
Okay, so I did go ahead and take the special ed praxis.
Uh-huh.
And then, so it's just checking a box basically, and then I.
When you're applying, yeah, you go down through the application, and at some point it says, what endorsement area are you in? And you're checking elementary ed, because that's where your student taught. But then there's another little checkbox that says, please evaluate for an additional area. And when you check that, another drop-down comes out, and then you can choose the other one. Yeah. Yes.
So in theory, you can get that endorsement just based off of your undergrad?
Yes. Yeah, as long as it's a content undergrad, right? Unlike, well, if it was a special ed undergrad, but
No, I
yeah.
did math and psychology, so I was
Yeah.
trying to do the math.
Oh, I would recommend it, yeah. If you have a degree in math, do it. I mean, that's, wow, that will move the resume sorting will move you right to the top. Yeah.
So you said they're gonna stop offering place
There's
after
math
May.
and
Does that
addition.
mean it would be better for us to take the praxis
First
versus
one already got it.
place because it's gonna be done
Well,
in a few months?
Praxis is accepted countrywide, worldwide. Place is only accepted in Colorado. So if you have Place and you plan to stay in Colorado, that's fine. But if you're thinking, well, I might slip across the border to New Mexico where minimum salary for teachers $40 grand, you want Praxis. Yeah, Utah, Wyoming, Kansas, and New Mexico, all of those neighbors, not Nebraska, all pay better than us. Yes,
Do you know where to go to get a DoD licensure?
they have a great website.
Okay.
I would just go to dodds.gov and find that, but they have a great website and you can do that. Yeah. One of the things they ask you on their license is, where would you like to be? So,
Well, my fiance's military, and we won't be moving for the next couple of years. but
Uh-huh.
we will go moving, so-
yeah, and then that's transportable then, from base to base. That's part of that system.
So
Oh, there it is,
everyone,
yeah.
just regarding the adding the endorsement real quick, and I'll put this link in the email that we send tomorrow. It goes over the endorsement requirements, and like Dr. Warren said, you can have either gone through an approved accredited program like in secondary biology, which you wouldn't have done, or 24 credit hours in that content area in prior coursework, or you can take classes down the road if you want, or the third opportunity is pass the praxis in that content area. So for those of you that can see this, this top one is agriculture, and so here's the place exam or the praxis. As Dr. Warren mentioned, the place is being phased out. So the ones that are available via the three methods we talked about a minute ago, agriculture, business, marketing, drama, early childhood, English language, family and consumer studies, comprehensive health, instructional technology, marketing, math, music, PE, science, social studies, speech, technology, visual arts. So those are, and then there's world languages too, if you speak an additional language, including Spanish. Those are the ones
There's
that.
a bunch of goofy ones too. They're funny little ones like gifted education is an added endorsement.
And so if you're interested in, let's say that you're a computer expert, and you wanted to do technology, you'd click the PDF, and it really makes it a little bit more clear, and I don't know if all of you can see this. This is the, hold the degree, that's like a whole college degree through the program, or documented evidence of 24 credit hours, which you'll see here.
There's a worksheet.
Or see the praxis here. So then you would you would submit this with it. And one of the advantages that helps you stand out, this would actually really make you marketable in middle school. Because you're gonna have your 6th grade licensure through this program, and then this will open you up also to 7th and 8th as well. So, but we'll put that in there, and it's something just to keep in the back of your head as your career evolves. You might not do it right away, but if you want to change later, that's a good opportunity. And there are additional endorsements, but they have more stringent requirements. Like for culturally linguistically diverse education, you can't just take the content exam, you have to actually go through a program. So the only, unless you do some additional significant work that we talked about, but that could lead, sometimes I'll get a call from someone who's been through this program saying, hey, I want to do something else, what do you recommend? Well, you already have your master's degree, so that's great. You already have your licensure for K through 6, so that's also great. So what else would you like to do to, either expand your career or do something, that's just a little bit of a change? A lot of people will do an additional master's degree program, or instead of doing the 33 credits in our CLD, they could just do the first 24 credits and get the endorsement. The problem with just getting an endorsement through UNC, which is different than the endorsement through the state, is that there's no financial aid available. You'd have to go through an entire master's degree seeking program for that. But at this point in time, you might as well just go for your PhD.
Yeah. So this is one of the ways that school districts are filling really hard to fill positions. If I know an engineer that just retired, he's got 24 credits in science, right? I can do the 24 credit thing and make him highly qualified. When I was a superintendent, that rule saved my life. With music, that was an area where I had a 24 credit person who we wound up doing an alternative license for her, and she student taught while she worked for me. It was kind of cool. She was a great jazz musician too. Yeah.
So if you wanted to get that endorsement on, and that would be connected with your initial license,
Well, the license is
Or
just
your
the paper,
license.
so you're adding
So-
endorsements, right?
would you want to have passed the praxis in that area before the date that we're turning in?
Sure.
all of this stuff?
Yeah, and praxis is often offered quite frequently, so.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, UNC and Greeley is becoming an approved site to take praxis. So that's a new thing too, yeah.
If you don't take it before, if you wanted to take the praxis and add an endorsement, can you do that whenever?
Yeah, it just costs more.
Oh.
It'll cost you $80 instead of $20.
Yeah,
See,
what's money?
Yeah, whatever, right? So when you go out to do your license, it's gonna cost you $90, and if you have an added endorsement to do, it's another $20,
Okay.
okay?
But if you add
And if you go back later and do another application, it's gonna cost you another $90. Yeah. Yeah.
So the middle school piece, those 7th and 8th grade teachers,
Yes.
do they have, is it a separate license for middle school? Is it the secondary license?
It's a secondary license.
Because a lot of our buildings, I went to my district meeting, and it's 6, 7, and 8 is middle school. And I asked them, will you hire me with a K-6 license? And they said, yes, but you needed to have these endorsements so I can move you around. Does that
Yeah,
mean?
make it easy for them.
Yeah.
They're gonna hire you because they need you, and then they're gonna work with you and say, go take this class, or
Okay,
go do this thing, let's get an added endorsement.
okay.
But districts, when they're really desperate, mathematics, holy cow.
Science and
I'll
math,
tell you
that's
what, the
you
way they move and get creative with, I could, for example, as a secondary science teacher, I also taught a class of 6th grade science. Because that's okay, it's less than 25% of my load.
said.
That's allowed,
Okay.
okay? It gets slippery, but the hiring managers know how to do this. And middle school, I've been in middle schools for 40 years. It's probably why I'm so wacky. So, yes, middle schools are a great place to be.
So the 24 credits are really specific, so when.
Specific
apply for
areas, right,
that-
yeah.
Yeah, of that area. So when you apply for that endorsement, do they just look at your undergraduate coursework and then decide if those classes fit into that?
They're going to ask you to upload that worksheet.
Oh,
They
and
want
then
you to do the work
put
for 'em,
in
and then they'll go
which
verify it,
courses you
right.
took. Okay.
Yeah, and if you say, track 1 fulfilled mathematics 206, they're going to question it.
Yeah.
But if it's not very obvious, if the content within a course fulfills that, then I think you can claim it.
One of the ways I would advise to find out what fits in those, in the PDFs and the right contents for your prior coursework is to actually take your transcripts and the PDF down to CDE and meet with someone there. Don't call, because you know how that goes. Go and say, well, do these match? And you have that advantage of living here in town. I would tell the same thing for somebody living in Greeley or Fort Collins to
Yeah.
drive down, look at it and say, do these all count? If not, then you need to go take the classes later.
Yes.
Are endorsements something that changes your starting point on the salary scales of these districts? Or is it just-
Not typically. There are some districts that have incentives in hard-to-fill areas like math and science. Most salary scales are going to be based on your years of teaching experience and your education. So you'll go in the MA column at 0, probably for almost every job. Okay, but later on in your career, if you switch districts, different districts have rules about what level they won't go above to hire somebody. So for example, the last teaching job I had 19 years, and they wouldn't hire me higher than step 7. So I went in at, they didn't even have a PhD column, so I went in at Masters in 7. And that was okay, it was not a happy day, but that's what they do. Some districts have PhD columns and some don't. There are, typically it's nothing, because they do hire people even without a master's or bachelor's for some jobs. Bachelor's plus 15, bachelor's plus 30, master's plus 15, master's plus 30, PhD, EDD. So those are the columns that way. And then one of the tricks that districts are doing now is they're shortening the years on salary scales. So you have bigger jumps between years, but then it ends and you don't go any higher after year 12, for example. When I started in my career, the salary scales typically went to 40 years. You'll never see one of those again. All right? Yes?
In your opinion, is it going to be more difficult for us to get a job as first-year teachers with a higher degree?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
We are in such an area of shortage right now. Last year, Colorado produced 2,500 new teachers. And last year in Colorado, hiring managers hired 4,500 teachers. There is such a severe shortage that you will work. Okay? Unless you blow it, unless you say something mean to the principal and make him mad, you will find something.
Okay.
The other part of it is when you're focusing your job search, you really have to look yourself in the mirror and say, how flexible am I? If I go to TED and the only offer I get is in Beijing, am I going? So don't even talk to Beijing if you're not going, right? So have that thought. Generally speaking, the more flexible you are, the more likely you are to get something quickly. And so your wife works here and she's a physician at I don't know, pick a hospital somewhere here in Denver. Maybe you can't move. Maybe you don't want an hour commute. So that constrains where you're going to search, right? But that also means that with this license, you don't have to get an additional sub-license. This license supersedes all sub-licenses. If you don't have the job exactly where you want right away, get on the sub list of every building in which you want to work. Okay? I don't recommend getting a sub list and starting doing a lot of work in places you don't want to be. They will offer you a job, and then you're going to be in that place of rejecting them, and people talk to each other. It's not pretty, okay? Subbing is another excellent job interview. Some districts, depending year to year, have enough money to hire a building super sub. Have you ever seen those? Yeah, that's where they actually hire an extra teacher. And that teacher is the first sub every day, no matter what, because somebody's going to be out. Or they use them for, I don't know, during CMAS season, you've got a student who has to be in an isolated room. So that person's part of the team that helps administer tests. You know, those jobs are out there too, and they are an excellent foot in the door if that's the building you want to be in, because somebody will leave at some point and they know you. And by the time that person leaves, they love you, right? Because you've been so awesome for them. Any other questions? Whatever you have forgotten or think of on the way out the door, email me. I'll be happy to answer whatever questions you have. I will also be at TED. If you wind up with questions that you didn't think of or something comes up at TED, you can find my table and I will pat you on the head and say, there, it's okay. You're going to be fine. When you go to TED, I've been on both sides of that table. I've been a hiring manager at an event like TED, and it's a very interesting time. And districts get competitive. If you have a name badge that says what your area is, I mean, we literally went around and looked and read name badges. And, oh, your music. Come here. I mean, there's a lot of that, especially in the afternoon, because they've been trying to find people and they can't find them. So somebody in their team goes and looks at everybody in the lines and says, who's got what, who's got what, come here. We need to interview you. Do you mind stepping out of line? No, it's competitive because we're in a shortage time, really a shortage time. Okay? I'm excited for you. This is going to be so cool. Are you excited to be teachers? Yeah. It's a great career. My second job, my interview was super short too. He says, okay, obviously you can teach science, you've been doing that successfully, and will you coach? Oh yeah. What do you want me to coach? Volleyball? Awesome. I've never played, but yes, I can coach. I mean, you have no idea what's going to happen. It's so exciting. It really is. And it's great for people like me with a short attention span. Right? And obviously, I think the world of Roseanne and John. They are great resources for you. Please don't ignore career services. They can help you in a million ways. UNC, I came to UNC partly because it's just an awesome institution to support you. Remember, 1886, we were established by the legislature to train teachers for Colorado, and we're still doing it. We were the normal school. Right? Now, I got my degree from the normal school in New York. Every state had a normal school. Remember that from 500? Yeah? Normal schools? Does that make CU abnormal? No, not really. It's just my joke. But anyway, good luck. I hope you have a great rest of your afternoon. Roseanne, anything else for the good of the order?
So I'll stick around if anybody has questions.